Hi, this is Jim Reavis, and welcome to Cloud Security Alliance's AI Summit Q1 2024. It's our first virtual summit of the year, and I think you can guess why we picked this topic. It certainly seems to be the most important one. And again, I'm Jim Reavis. I'm the Chief Executive Officer at CSA, and I'm here to just provide the greeting for this day one. Just got a lot of great speakers throughout these 2 days, and a lot of the AI and cloud companies that are being fundamental to what this future is going to look like, and a lot of different sorts of users. And in America, we know it's playoff season, and it's really cool to have the National Football League here to talk about it. And if you watch commercials during games, you know how fundamental AI is to the analytics that happen in that sport. And it's sort of a indicator of how it's going to impact us all over the place. So thought I would share a little bit about how we're thinking about generative AI, where we think the industry is going, and I'll just sort of leave it with this call to action to participate in our AI safety initiative. So I'm sort of taking different approaches to thinking about this and how is generative AI in and of itself really going to grow and improve? How does it really relate to cloud, and how do these things work together? And so, one way to characterize it is, let's just think about this in a very sort of ironic and humorous way. And of course, all graphics you see here were generated by AI, obviously, but one way to think about where we're at right now is to say the cloud and AI had a baby and they named it ChatGPT. And really, when you think about things, because artificial intelligence has been around for a long, long time in different forms, but what made this viral sensation was the fact that we combined it with the cloud delivery model so that anyone could have access anywhere to these powers of generative AI and large language models, and fastest growing application. And it's really changing the world as we speak. So that's really one way that you can think about it. So another way that I've been trying to start working through is to create a version number of cloud and see how this all sort of fits in. You can go to the CSA site and our blog, and you can see I wrote a larger article about this. It was about the last week of December. So go ahead and check that out for just a little bit more information. But way that I think about this is, so Cloud 1.0, which is started at the time that we started thinking about this and created CSA, is that cloud was about providing access to traditional IT services, compute, storage. The atomic unit of early cloud is the virtual machine. And the virtual machine was not new at that time. It traced its way back to the early IBM mainframes. And even on the PC side, the virtual machines had their lineage in the Intel 8386 microprocessor, which allowed virtual machines, and that was in the mid-1980s. And I remember that well, and I remember us starting to multitask back in the late 80 timeframe. So that was Cloud 1.0, was traditional IT services, but it was this new business model. It was anybody could have access, much like how we saw ChatGPT go viral. And innovators who before were constrained by how much compute they had, credit card, set up an account, and all of a sudden they have access to the largest data centers around the world. And that's where we saw this sort of blooming of 1,000 flowers of cloud innovation. And that led to Cloud 2.0. So Cloud 2.0, to me, that's where we saw that innovation create cloud native stuff in a lot of different forms. So because we're needing to develop things so quickly and we needed to figure out how we manage that, there were frameworks like DevOps. That's something that came about as a result of that. But then the technology itself, and just got a couple of examples, but like containers and serverless, Docker, Kubernetes, all those sorts of things, which really represented, here's a layer of abstraction on top of Cloud 1.0. That's what we saw. And in cybersecurity, we saw much the same. Cloud security posture management, cloud native application protection platform, a lot of other acronyms that are out there coming and going, but basically cybersecurity is cloud security and it's cloud native is where we've gone. So another interesting thing that happened during this Cloud 2.0 is that as the pandemic took hold and we had this lockdown, shutdown, and people went to work from home, there was quite an acceleration of the move to cloud and quite a realization on the part of IT and security executives that their strategies and architectures and frameworks were too brittle for this very agile need. And they ran into a lot of problems in terms of, hey, these security controls, they really rely on people being in the office. And when they go to home, we don't have those security controls anymore. So what happened as a result of that, in my viewpoint anyway, was we saw the rediscovery and rise of zero trust as this strategy for securing cloud and hybrid systems and all of that. So that took us through to about mid 2022. Then we started to see the rise of generative AI, and it really sort of became full blown late 2022. And that's where we're at right now is Cloud 3 that we're just starting to feel how it's going to operate and how it's going to impact us. That's where we're at right now. And it's this merger of generative AI and Cloud 2.0. And I had some charts there that sort of show that the sort of traditional Cloud 2.0 venture funding was declining and generative AI funding is going through the roof. And that's sort of where I think we're at. So one more way to think about it is, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, and you can go to our archives, but we developed this layered model that showed how cloud infrastructure and then cloud platform as a service APIs and then software as a service really is this layered model. And you have a small number of infrastructure that led to millions and millions of SaaS applications. And we see that as being the same thing. Large public cloud providers, public LLMs like OpenAI, Anthropic, Google DeepMind, really the same thing. So how this is going to happen is that enterprises, they may like move quickly to create their own sort of private LLMs, or they may take a while. But the generative AI is moving very pervasively inside of SaaS applications. And now these generative AI companies are coming up with their own app stores. So this viral adoption moving quickly from a risk management, due care, data governance perspective, privacy perspective, we all need to care about it right away. So one more thought I want to give you is just as this grows and gets more powerful, the emergent capabilities are unpredictable and what's going to happen. And so, let's consider that and be aware of these very, very powerful large language models tied to neural networks. We're going to see the future surprise us in several ways. So something that isn't a surprise that we're seeing right now is this co-pilotization of cybersecurity. I didn't invent that. I'm mad that I didn't, but I'm popularizing it. So co-pilotization means that everyone in cybersecurity that have solutions, they're putting these co-pilot interfaces to really fuse generative AI with cybersecurity. And they need to. Creates the automation, the accuracy, the scale. It's a competitive issue. So we're going to see good guys using AI, bad guys using AI, and it's going to be that fight. And if you're a cybersecurity professional, prompt engineering is an important skill set. I would be trying to get that right now. It's actually very important. So I just want to leave you with, we have an AI safety initiative. It's of huge importance to Cloud Security Alliance. We're bringing the whole community together, and we're taking that CSA approach and that global footprint, try and develop the same research, education, organizational certification, the tools, and be complementary to the other things that are happening out there, and really get us prepared and build the guardrails for a future of much more powerful AI. So thank you for listening to me here. I hope you enjoy the rest of the 2 days here, and thank you very much. Bye-bye.